Hello, happy Monday. Welcome. Thank you for joining us here on News 2. Hope everyone had a wonderful Columbus and VIPR celebration. The village was open, and it was a big weekend on St. Croix as Christians came out in full force to celebrate their Hispanic heritage. The weekend capped a month-long celebration led by the VIPR Friendship Committee, and one of the highlights was the Grand Parade. News 2's April Knight has more.
Day is a bigger deal than on St. Croix. Crucians took to the streets over the weekend, part of their celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, with a special focus on the ties between the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. The biggest event was quite possibly the Grand Parade, which flowed from Basin Triangle to DC Canagata Ballpark. Various royalty waved to the crowd, including this year's VIPR Friendship Queen, Brianna Almestiga. Different troops from schools and the community joined in the revelry, including parade mainstays like the St. Croix Majorettes to troops sponsored by government agencies. The parade is one of the highlights of months of work by the VIPR Friendship Committee. This year, the older leadership has passed on the torch to newer blood.
Passing the torch to all these nice young people that you see here, and we are encouraging the community to join this committee. This committee belongs to the Virgin Islanders and to the Puerto Ricans.
Celebrations wrapped up later that evening, but it was a VIPR Friendship Day that people are unlikely to forget. Organizers say it can only get better in the years to come.
We want to continue the tradition, and we want to continue bringing this every year better, better, better.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Now, the village also opened on Friday with many dignitaries. The ribbon was cut early in the evening, and Governor Kenneth Mapp did the honors. The theme this year is the new generation, continuing the tradition. The village was named in honor of Paul Yearwood, who dedicated his life to working with St. Croix's children and youth, particularly young athletes. Governor Mapp himself has praised Mr. Yearwood for being a great example of volunteerism in the community. After the ceremonies, the village was a place of food and culture and lots of music and entertainment. Bands from Puerto Rico took to the stage and revelers danced to the music in the spirit of celebration. The festivities continued today with the official VIPR Friendship Celebration at the Christiansted Boardwalk. The Virgin Islands Puerto Rico Friendship Committee of St. Thomas and St. John, they held their celebration as well, entitled Movements in Cultural Reflections. On Friday, the Virgin Islands Council on the Arts featured a photo exhibit by Mario Pacayo displaying carnival costumes of the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and Cuba. Among the attendees was the Lieutenant Governor Osbert Potter, Senators Myron Jackson and Marvin Blyden. Mr. Pacayo discussed his latest book, Caribbean Carnival Portraits, and his experience documenting the various cultures. There was a wine tasting Saturday at E's Garden Tea House, an evening reflecting blends of friendship. It included an orchestra directed by Lois Taylor. Chair Glenn Kwabena Davis was master of ceremonies. The evening was filled with entertainment, including several poets and the students of CHS performing art class. VIPR Friendship St. Thomas St. John Committee Chairperson Mrs. Carmen Dennis thanks everyone for their support. Now tonight at 7 p.m., the Reichel Center for the Arts is featuring Gothique Folkloric Ballet of Puerto Rico. The program will also include and showcase our local cultural performers, the Mungo Niles cultural dancers, and the Caribbean ritual dancers. Earlier this afternoon, as we mentioned, VIPR Friendship events kicked off at the Boardwalk on St. Croix. And the Caribbean Museum Center for the Arts, they have an event coming up. They're thrilled to host the Performing Arts Festival with De Nuestras Raíces, led by Juliet M. Bailey Martinez, Oceana James, and Paloma McGregor. The festival will also feature a presentation on the Bambula dance and a screening of the thought-provoking documentary Sugar Pathways, directed by Johanna Bermudez. Migrating Histories is a project conceived by curators Monica Marin and Carla Acevedo Yates. This program examines the shared histories of resistance between the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico from colonial times to the present. October 13th, we have the drum salute with I Rhythm, ritual open with St. Croix Council of Elders, artist talk with Paloma McGregor. October 14th, we have the return of the circle, Bambula Circle with Dunestras. And then October 15th, building a better fish trap, community walk. October 16th, we have instrument making, show Sugar Pathways, performance by Bambula History Drum Workshop, and a dance workshop. Well, for Virgin Islanders, Sunday was the last chance to register to vote and participate in the general election. Election officials are gearing up for the flurry of activity that is coming up in the weeks ahead, but they're also dealing with court battles on their side. NEWS2's April Knight has some numbers from the election system and details on a court case. Here's some more.
The registration deadline is officially over. Election officials are still tallying up the latest number of registered voters. But as of September 30th, there were 45,768 registered voters in the VI, 22,034 on St. Croix, 21,950 on St. Thomas, and 1,784 on St. John. According to Fox, extending the deadline to October 9th increased the registered number of voters, but not by much.
The extended deadline that we had in both districts, we increased about 28 in the St. Croix district and about 30 additional persons registered in the St. Thomas district. We register each month, so it's not really a big thing. And in a month, what happened is we register each month.
But election prep is not the only thing demanding Fox's attention. Members of the election board went to the VI Supreme Court to appeal an earlier decision by the Superior Court. That case revolved around Ivy Moses, who wants to run for senator without resigning her post as election board member. Senators do it all the time, she said, but the court said no. Moses was since disqualified from the primaries. But according to Fox, even if the VI Supreme Court grants the appeal somehow, that might still not make a difference in the primaries, which already passed.
It's dealing with the law. We were following the law. So, if the law is wrong, then they'll correct the law going forward, but it can't be retroactive. The law is the law right now.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
And we will keep you updated on any developments on the Ivy Moses appeal. While saying he's never claimed to be a perfect person, Donald Trump issued a rare apology in the face of a new scandal that is threatening some serious damage to his presidential campaign. A decade-old recording obtained by the Washington Post surfaced Friday. In it, the Republican nominee can be heard making some vulgar comments about women. 11-year-old video has surfaced of a Republican nominee and engaged in that sexually explicit conversation with television host Billy Bush while on the set of a soap opera. He was making a cameo appearance on Trump. Later on, he issued an on-camera statement that was apologetic but also defiant. Now, Governor Mike Pence says he's sticking by Donald Trump despite reports that he was thinking of dropping out of the race. The Republican vice presidential nominee said the video never caused him to rethink his position on the campaign. Now, the run-up to Sunday night's debate was ugly. At times, the debate got even uglier. The leaked audio clip of Donald Trump from 2005 took center stage as Trump tried to turn the focus to Hillary Clinton and her family. Andrew Spencer takes a look at how each of the candidates responded.
It didn't take long for Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton to go after each other.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Trump interrupted Clinton several times as she responded to a question about her private email server.
Okay, Donald, I know you're into big diversion tonight, anything to avoid talking about your campaign and the way it's exploding and the way Republicans are leaving you.
Asked about the 2005 hot mic video capturing his vulgar comments about women, Trump addressed it quickly and tried to steer the question away.
I apologize to my family. I apologize to the American people. Certainly I'm not proud of it, but this is locker room talk.
Pressed on the issue later, he tried to turn the tables on Clinton's family.
If you look at Bill Clinton, far worse, minor words, and his was action.
When I hear something like that, I am reminded of what my friend Michelle Obama advised us all. When they go low, you go high.
Clinton responded by saying if this was about just one video or one audio clip, Trump's apology and explanations would be understandable.
But everyone can draw their own conclusions at this point about whether or not the man in the video or the man on the stage respects women.
I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
Keeping our eye on the economy, the makers of EpiPen, Mylan, will pay $465 million over questions on whether the company had overcharged Medicaid for the drug. The pharmaceutical company was accused of falsely classifying EpiPen as a life-saving allergic reaction treatment. Drug makers pay rebates to Medicaid under the Medicaid drug rebate program. The companies pay less money if a drug is classified as generic. It was recently discovered that Mylan was paying the lower generic rate to Medicaid for its name brand EpiPen. Mylan does not admit to any wrongdoing. Here's a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. According to the numbers there, everything up. The Dow 88, NASDAQ 36, S&P 500 up at 9. Coming up on News 2, Governor Kenneth Mapp formally signed his proposal to reduce litter and protect marine life into law late Friday to restrict the use of plastic shopping bags. That's coming up. That was the scene earlier today. Be sure to tune in later for our weather forecast. We'll have an update on what we can expect weather-wise. Governor Kenneth Mapp formally signed his proposal to reduce litter and protect marine life into law late Friday. Bill number 31-0379 will restrict the use of plastic shopping bags in the territory. Members of the 31st legislature unanimously supported that proposal. The law requires businesses and organizations to utilize reusable bags or recyclable paper bags with the goal of eliminating plastic bags at point-of-sale checkouts. Plastic bags still will be allowed where no acceptable substitute exists. Regulations will take effect on January 1st, 2017. However, penalties will not be assessed until April 1st to allow for the transition. While most Caribbean islands have debated banning plastic bags, only a few jurisdictions have implemented restrictions. Coast Guardsmen and federal law enforcement authorities offloaded approximately 3,157 pounds of cocaine and transferred custody of 4 suspected smugglers at Coast Guard Sector San Juan Friday, following the interdiction of drug smuggling go-fast vessel in the Caribbean Sea Monday. The seized contraband was estimated to have a wholesale value of $36 million. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Puerto Rico will be filing a criminal complaint in the U.S. District Court of Puerto Rico against the 4 suspected smugglers, 3 Venezuelan and 1 Dominican Republic nationals who were apprehended aboard the Go-Fast. The interdiction and seizure of this drug shipment was a result of ongoing multi-agency law enforcement efforts. Remember 17-year-old Jaquan Buginu? He is a CAHS student we reported about last month, the victim of peer bullying. Well, here's an update. He now has 4 permanent plates on his jaw because of damage from being brutally punched several times by a student. The Department of Human Services Commissioner designee, Dr. Anita Roberts, assisted in sending him to Florida for his operation. And over the weekend, a surprise event was held for Jaquan by Dr. Roberts entitled Afternoon of Love. Heads of many department divisions were in attendance to show their love and support to Jaquan. He was beaming with pride and thanked them. He was accompanied by his mother, Rose Torres. Some more Coast Guard news. The Coast Guard cutter Raymond Evans' crew repatriated 21 Cuban migrants on Tuesday and another 26 Cuban migrants on Friday. Now, this was all a result of a 4 separate at-sea migrant interdiction in the South Florida Straits. In each instance, they say the Coast Guard helped secure the U.S. border and prevented these sea voyages from ending in tragedy. Once aboard a Coast Guard cutter, all migrants were given food, water, shelter, and basic medical attention. The Coast Guard says they have observed a steady increase in illegal maritime migration attempts to the southeastern U.S. from Cuba. Meanwhile, Coast Guard and Joint Task Force Matthew provided relief supplies and conducted post-storm damage assessment. Flights for Jeremy, Haiti on Saturday. Following a direct impact to the area by Hurricane Matthew, the Coast Guard conducted post-storm damage assessment flights and reported damage to infrastructure in Jeremy. Joselerme the Prevert, the interim president of Haiti, Leopold Berlanger, the president of the Provisional Electoral Council, and Peter F. Mullion, who is the U.S. ambassador to Haiti, joined Coast Guard crews to assess damage and visit the people of Jeremy. Hurricane Matthew and helping our neighbors in Haiti was on the minds of many VI residents. This past weekend, Haiti relief efforts were underway. Food, water, flashlights, batteries, baby items, and more boxed up were dropped off by those residents who wanted to lend a helping hand to those in need. Many showed up at the Tutu Park Mall on Saturday, Sunday, and today, Monday, with their goods. As members of Sleepy's Trucking packed their trailer, the relief effort was a combination of community organizations coming together to include Kappa, Smith Bay, East End Rotary, and churches. Now, for monetary donations, you can send it to the Paradise Covenant Ministry. Pastor Samuel Weeks said 100% of funds will be sent to Haiti. Well, meanwhile, Haiti is facing a surge in cholera cases in the wake of Hurricane Matthew. Doctors warned as the death toll on the devastated island climbed past 1,000. U.S. Marines delivered badly needed food aid on Sunday after Haiti's government said more than 1.5 million people had been affected by the storm, and 350,000 of those were in need of immediate assistance. 90% of crops have been destroyed in the worst hit areas of the country, according to UN World Food Program Officer for Haiti, Laurine Didier. Throughout Haiti's southwestern peninsula, people were digging themselves out from the wreckage of the storm, which also brought flooding. A downgraded Category 1 Matthew made landfall over South Carolina's Central Coast Saturday morning. North Carolina, however, is still dealing with devastation. Governor Pat McCrory announced this morning that 1,500 people are stranded in the city of Lumberton. A levee holding back the Lumber River gave way after the storm caused the river to swell. 10 of the 20 deaths reported in the storm happened in North Carolina. In Savannah, Georgia, very strong winds uprooted trees and took down power lines. Meanwhile, in Florida, the cleanup is beginning in areas like Daytona Beach, St. Augustine, and Jacksonville. Dozens of homes and businesses have been damaged, and more than 800,000 people are still without power. Well, there was a musical event with a cause at Megan's Bay this Sunday for a fundraiser on St. Thomas. Residents gathered for October Sunday Beach Jam, the impromptu fundraiser that benefited the Family Resource Center. There was live entertainment, and Family Resource Center's Executive Director Vivian St. Just herself regaled the attendees with a bit of dancing as Lady Carib. Artists included Broccoli, the Catalysts, and Lourdes. They provided live music. There was a lot of purple at the event as October Sunday Beach Jam coincides with Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Well, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and in recognition, we will be sharing some numerous events, including the Virgin Islands red carpet premiere of the featured documentary film, Be Here and Now, the Andy Whitfield story, as opening night of the Forum's 2016-17 season. And then we also have Pink Out, the health fair and Zumbathon. It will be held in St. Thomas on October 15th at Prior Gillette Hall at the MCM Center at Antilles School to raise awareness for CSVI and VIVE, Virgin Islands Vidas Extraordinaires, Inc. Here's more.
I'm very pleased to be able to bring the film to the Virgin Islands and wrap that in an inspiring day to really think about our own lives and our own health.
I'm here with the children to celebrate my beautiful husband's legacy and to inspire other people to live life and death to the fullest.
The tickets for the red carpet premiere are available at theforumvi.com, but I think you can also buy them at the Chelsea Drugstore and the Medicine Shop.
So you can go to Zumba.com. You can actually go to my personal Zumba homepage, which is Gaynell. It's spelled G-A-Y-N as in Nancy, E-L-H. .zumba.com.
We provide financial assistance to uninsured and underinsured cancer patients in the community.
And since 2006, we've provided over 1,500 grants and totaling over $1.2 million in grants to local cancer patients.
And we will have more fabulous details on the event on Tuesday's newscast. Be sure to stick around. Well, flood advisories were in effect for St. Thomas and St. John early today. Is that still the case? Be sure to stick around. Your News2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.
We continue to monitor Tropical Storm Nicole that's located further north and away from the Virgin Islands, but we do have a tropical wave that's in the vicinity, and that's what's responsible for the showers and the thunderstorms we'll see popping up over the next few days. If you take a look at satellite behind me, well, you can clearly make out where that moisture is, and here is that tropical wave that I'm talking about. That will continue to press off towards the west, bringing rounds of rain and a few rumbles of thunder. So for tonight, we are looking at showers widespread in some areas. Temperatures remaining mild out there. We're right around 80 degrees. As we head towards tomorrow, lots of clouds sticking around St. John's, the entire Virgin Islands. Temperatures warming up to 89. We will see some showers. I wouldn't be surprised if we even hear a few claps of thunder. Out in St. Thomas, 89 your high. A couple of showers around, some of which can be numerous and heavy at times. So have the umbrella. Budget enough time for your morning and afternoon commute. Exercise caution on those roadways. Temperatures in the afternoon will be climbing to the mid to upper 80s in St. Croix. They too won't see much of the sun, and they will also have a few of those clouds around. As we take a look at the marine forecast in the Atlantic, waves are between 3 and 5 feet with winds out of the east between 7 and 14 knots. Although we don't have any advisories out there, small craft operators are urged to exercise caution. Out in the Caribbean, the conditions are actually very similar, with those waves between 2 and 4 feet and winds out of the east between 7 and 14 knots. Here's a look at the next 5 days. We'll have to get through pretty much Tuesday, Wednesday before we'll see the sunshine return to the Virgin Islands by Thursday. That pattern beginning to relax just a bit, but it's still not going to take away the fact that we can see a shower pretty much for the next few days across the area. Temperatures will be bumping up a bit due to the sunshine returning. We'll be right around 90 Thursday afternoon. Temps remaining in the 90s here on Friday. We'll still have the chance for showers even through the weekend. Sandy?
Thanks for that. And we can expect more of those showers, huh? Here's our news to weather picture there by Chris Romas, LCR Community Learning Center, sharing some typical VI weather there with the sunshine. But as we just heard, we can expect more of those showers, exactly the opposite of what we saw earlier today. Thank you for that, Chris. Send us your news to weather picture to the address on the screen right there. Be sure to include your name, age, school, and a brief description, and then tune in to see it right here on News2. That is all for this edition. We would like to thank you for joining us for all the latest. I'm Sandra Gumansing. We will see you next time.